We were given this slide by the Harvard Education School. Public school was invented as a training ground for work. It's the King of Prussia in 1750. Frederick the Great created public schools, going to his advisors and said, help me produce a public school or a training system that produces the most loyal subjects to the king. And they said there are two principles. One is isolation and the other one is fear. And if you think of public schools, the way desks are created, everyone sits isolated from each other. Every semester, relationships are changing so that kids cannot be with the same kids cannot be with the same teachers. Everyone fears everybody. Students fear teachers, teachers fear principals, principals fear superintendents. And yet that structure was the most brilliant structure for producing the most loyal subjects to the king, which is what work was. Well, fast forward, 1920, a guy named Cubberley in the United States said, we don't need loyal subjects to the king, we need factory workers. We need assembly line workers who know how to follow instruction. And rather than isolation and fear that drove loyalty, they updated this to compliance and uniformity. Compliance and uniformity is another way to say it's a rule-based system and everyone does the same thing. So when you find yourself trying to solve most problems by having a committee, compliance training, thinking of what are the rules so people don't have to think for themselves, you're applying exactly what Cubberley created for the industrial age. Uniformity has everything to do with what is everyone doing? And of course, now with social media, now with news and data, everyone wants to know what is everyone doing? And we just copy that. And you think about schools and what's happening in schools, you're moving through subjects like an assembly line, right? You start the day, you might take English class, then you go to science class. Everybody has recess. And the process of training students this way produced the best assembly line workers. Since we were given this going a while back, we had the opportunity in working with 10,000 plus organizations, trying to find what's the future? Who's actually living it now? Charter schools, early learning schools. And what we saw was a pattern in the schooling system. Two new principles were showing up: creativity and collaboration. When you are facing something you haven't seen, you need human beings to be creative, working together to solve the problem. And the top job, the top skill that was showing up across a pattern of different industries was creating decision makers. That every organization is now a decision-making machine. And the organization that produced the best decision makers and were training them constantly were the ones that were going to win.